Thanks for joining us on What Matters This Week this Sunday. I'm Lauren Maloney. Joining us now is UVM junior Anna Marchessault. Anna, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
There's a new program at the school that started in September called the Legislative Intern Center. And when I heard about this, I wanted to know a little bit more. So just tell me exactly what this entails.
Yeah, so basically in Vermont we have a citizen legislature, which means that they all have full-time jobs, and especially in the off-season are not really involved as much, and they don't have full-time staff like a lot of other places. So they don't have the access to be able to do a lot of the background research or a lot of the work that they would have staffers to do or would have some free time for, they don't have. So what this center basically is trying to do is give them access to UVM students who are trying to learn about how the process works and be able to, sort of mutually benefit them they get the research done or whatever done, and the interns get the experience. So it's really awesome.
We should mention that House Speaker Mitzi Johnson and, of course, Senate President Pro Tem Tim Ash have aides, but really they're the only ones. And as you said, a lot of these lawmakers have full-time jobs. Sometimes they're small business owners.
Yeah.
So getting the research done is difficult. Now, this started in September, as you said. Now, even though the legislative session is not happening right now, it won't happen until January, you have been busy already working with some lawmakers.
Yeah, it definitely started off kind of slow getting the word out and everything, but it's been mostly research so far, but it's been a wide variety of things that we've researched, and we have gotten a lot of requests already from people in the off season, so it's pretty cool.
So how did you learn about this program, and why did you decide you wanted to get involved?
Yeah, so the woman who started it, Sam Hurt, was my boss over the summer at VPIRG, which is, involved in the State House with lobbying and stuff. And she just reached out to everybody saying, if you go to UVM and you want to work on it, I didn't really know much at first, but I really wanted to get involved in an internship at the state level in policy, so it worked out really well for me.
And right now there are 4 or 5 students, you said, and advisors in this part of the program.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're a natural resources ecology major.
Yeah.
So not poli-sci.
No, not at all.
Which almost lends to a couple of different kinds of help that you can provide to the lawmakers.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting being able to sort of give that alternate look on it. I just transferred into UVM as a junior, so I don't really have as much time for elective credits. So this internship gives me the opportunity to get what I would have gotten in that, which isn't something that I can get in any of my classes. So it's really hands-on experience, which is awesome, but it's also something that I wouldn't get in my regular education.
So what kind of research or what kinds of help have you provided to lawmakers so far, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. So I started by researching palliative care in Vermont, so that was a great thing to start with. I don't know much about healthcare in the state at all up until that point. So I started working on that and sort of where we could move forward in that direction. I worked on researching sex work in Vermont and what other countries have done sort of to combat that and to deal with it. And right now I'm working on more transportation work. I'm working on looking into protected bike lanes and how that could benefit biking infrastructure throughout the state.
Wow, so not necessarily having to do with a lake or something that would be ecology or natural resources.
Yeah, no, it's all stuff that the bike lane's a little less so, but a lot of it is stuff that I wouldn't have thought about at all. Stuff that I definitely wouldn't get in any of my other classes, and I've gotten a pretty good understanding of it, which is really cool.
Is there a topic that initially you were like, oh, I don't know if this is something I was ever interested in about, but then it totally reshaped your thinking?
The palliative care was definitely really cool. Healthcare has kind of scared me. It's confusing.
Sure.
So it was a little daunting at first, but it ended up being really cool. Learning about it, and then also just learning about what we could do at this point and how Vermont actually is doing a really good job already. I just had no clue about it at all, so it was pretty cool.
Now, are there deadlines given by the lawmakers, or what kind of communication is had between you and the lawmaker's office or their staff ahead of the project being discussed?
Yeah, so we have a form basically that they can fill out on our website that says if there is a deadline, they can put it in there. So far, because it's not the legislative session, it's been pretty relaxed deadlines. We try and get them done within a couple weeks anyway. But if there was one, they could have put it there. And then they basically just give a brief outline or statement of what they want done, when they want it done, and sort of why. And then if we have any questions about that, we can reach out to them again. But most of the time, they're pretty concise, and we just get started on it and then send it to them.
Have you heard feedback from any lawmakers so far from the work you've done this semester?
I personally have not. I think they probably contact people that are leading it a little bit more.
Okay.
But no, I haven't heard anything.
Okay. And then coming up for spring semester, there's kind of a different branch of this program. You called it a one-to-one match, basically, where, you know, long-term throughout the legislative session, basically January to May, if there is an intern and a lawmaker who wanted to match up and really work hand in hand for help, basically that's how it would go.
Yeah, so
that's completely new.
Yeah, it hasn't started yet. It's on our website if you want to check it out. But basically, yeah, it's more of a long-term one-to-one match, as you said. And I'm personally really excited for it. I think that's going to be maybe even more beneficial. And, you know, you'll be able to do more stuff. You get to go to the State House and see how things are actually run. But we still will have what we're doing right now, like just the research or single item sort of things. So we'll have both of them available. So if legislators don't want someone for the whole session but need something specific quickly, they can still reach out to us.
Okay.
But if they want more, they can also do that.
Or if they're working on something with a specific bill that may be short term but longer than a few weeks.
Yeah, so they can have that too. They could probably fill out either form for that. But yeah, we have interns available that can do that. And even for the short-term stuff, you still could go to the State House and help them out there as well.
And you're going to get involved in this program come January?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your experience when it comes to the State House? Because you are originally from Vermont. So have you been to Montpelier and seen the ins and outs of how things go on there?
Kind of. I'm excited to learn more about it. I learned about it through high school and stuff. I was just recently at the Vermont Youth Climate Congress, so that was held in the State House. But it would be interesting to see more sort of the behind the scenes of what happens day to day at the State House.
What is your goal going forward as far as what you want to do in the future and what you're interested in?
So I don't have a clear goal of what I want to do. Like you said, I'm a natural resource ecology major. I would like to work in environmental policy, environmental education sort of stuff. But I think that learning the way that Vermont politics is run is important to whatever I do end up doing. I think it would be beneficial.
And working with a lawmaker, what sort of the things do you want to know about their life for half of the year that you want to pick their brains about?
For the half that they're in session?
Yeah.
I mean, I think having the citizens legislature is unique and really cool because they have different life experiences than a professional legislature would. So they still get a lot of the citizenship that, you know, everyday people get, but then during that half of the year they are making all the laws, and I personally don't know that much about how each, you know, I know how a bill becomes a law, but other than that I don't know how every conversation goes and how they go. Yeah, so I think being able to learn that and how they go about that and how they go about, you know, wanting, you know, looking at an issue and then going from the issue to a law would be pretty cool.
Okay. And if there are students that are kind of thinking about maybe getting involved in January, what would your advice be for them if they're kind of on the fence and still thinking about what to do?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell them definitely look at all internships available, but this one's really cool. You can choose the amount of credits that you're taking for it. So if you want to just work on research or work on these short-term things, it doesn't have to be a super big commitment, so you could start kind of small, but it also, I think, would be a really good opportunity for any student, not just people that are interested in politics, to be able to see how it works and to be able to get education on stuff that you would never even think about, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Anna, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll be right back on What Matters This Week.